the Bottom of It with your host, Josh Moriarty.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast, The Bottom of It, hosted by myself, Josh Moriarty. How you doing? Hope everyone's okay out there. On today's episode, we have Michael Shuman from Queens of the Stone Age, probably one of my favorite rock bands of all time. Even just one of my favorite bands. I love those guys. So he's been playing in the band for the last 10 years now. He also has another band called Mini Mansions. He was in a band called Wires on Fire. And yeah, we just got talking about music. He started out in a pop-punk band when he was just a wee fella. We discussed being on tour, taking selfies, Twitter, the state of the music biz, all sorts of things. So here we go, Michael Shuman. Cheers. So now you can tell me what's been going on.
What's been going on? In everyday life.
Yeah, what does that consist of? Working on tunes?
Yeah, I've just been writing. Mm-hmm. I've been writing and been working on a score.
Score for what?
I don't even know if I can say the name of the movie,
okay.
But it's my friend's movie. It's like an actual studio film. It's low budget though.
Yeah, like everything seems to be.
Yeah,
these days.
Well, I'm low. I'm low on the totem pole for sure. But there's some like real people in it. And it was this girl, Troyan Belsario. I actually went to high school with her, but she's an actress much more popular than I even thought, because I haven't seen her since high school. And
you didn't check her Twitter or
no, but she has
Instagram
7 million followers. And I was like, holy shit. I mean, I just knew her from high school. This is like this girl.
I don't even know how they do that. How do they?
Insane.
What are they?
I don't know, because I like...
How many?
Our band has like 8,000. You know, you're like, how? I mean, she's on a big TV show. That's why.
I guess that's all you have to do.
Yeah, where millions of people watch you.
It's a good way to be able to gauge what someone's doing. You meet them at the club, and quickly look them up in the toilet, and then you decide how you have to speak to them.
It is crazy how you can do that.
I've never been too into all that internet stuff. I don't know.
No, I don't. Well, I don't have my own Twitter or Instagram or whatever. You know, it's just for business.
Yeah.
For the bands and whatever. But
do you do much of it? Do you post on all of it?
No, and I'm awful at it. But occasionally, I'll get like a hole of like, someone will be like, oh, that person, like, oh, check, and then I'll be on their Instagram and be like, and that's just like, I gotta get out of here.
We've been trying to do it with all the colors, try and tweet more and do all these things.
Yeah.
And I think it has made us more fans or something like that.
It's actually a real thing.
Yeah.
Because, our label would be like, you gotta do this. And they would start to help us. And then you would see, more fans and more followers and whatever. And so it does work for sure.
Yeah.
There's the science to it.
But you want to also just live your life.
100%. Yeah. Especially that person, like, some people are just more into that shit. Like,
they just like being on their phone, I guess.
They like being on their phone. I mean, I'm on my phone too much, but I don't know if I like it. I just I am.
Yeah, it's pretty addictive.
But people like to like I don't know the times I would actually take a selfie. You know what I mean? Or like Snapchat because I don't want to I don't want to see myself. I don't want people to see me, unless I'm like playing music.
Yeah. Do you know what your good side is?
There is a good side.
Yeah.
I know I have a good. I don't forget which one it is, but there is a better side.
I think I've just noticed that as well. It's
really?
The side that makes me look less bald. But I've just changed my hair because I used to have it pushed back, and then I started to see that I was thinning.
I was starting to
But I don't know if I actually was, or if I was just imagining it.
Yeah.
And it terrified me, so I started to find.
Isn't that weird that we're
my good side?
We're old now.
Yeah. What are you? 30?
I'm 30.
I'm older than you. I didn't even know that. 32, 33 soon.
Yeah. See, it's old. You're old.
How long have you been doing this for? When did you start playing tunes?
Like first band ever?
Yeah, why not?
Well, I mean, I was, I had a band when I was like in 3rd grade, but I actually I started a band in like 5th and 6th grade, so I was like it's 11 years old.
Yeah.
And there was this club in the Valley, San Fernando Valley is where I grew up.
Yeah.
And it was called Cobalt Cafe. and it was like an all ages place. And I started booking shows there when I was 11 years old.
Really?
And started playing our first shows. And we were like a pop punk band. You know?
Yeah. I guess people were, that was what was going on, huh?
Yeah.
It was always rock and roll of some description when you were younger, I think. No one was, but then I wonder now if kids are starting electro bands at an early age.
Totally.
They would be, right?
Well, I think it's I think it was very exciting.
Yeah.
But also, it was a whole different thing. You made all the flyers yourself.
Yeah.
My dad would drive me to the gig and whatever, but now you can just be at home, make the music on your computer. If it's an electro thing, take your computer to the gig, maybe with a guitar or something. I don't know.
They do that.
Right.
They take a pad to whack, or they take one.
Yeah.
It's live when you've got the one.
You can do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
And you post it all on you post the show on your phone, and you're done, man. It's all right there.
Is it going to change? Is it going to go back? Are people going to want to start lifting heavy amplifiers again and stuff? I wonder.
Well, I think people do like lifting. There's definitely all those bands, and there's a market for all that.
Yeah. I guess
especially if I play in a rock band, most of the time,
which you do.
I do. If I was going to go play a show, if I was going to go play a rock show with whatever band, my first inclination would be like, well, I'm going to bring my SVT and my 8x10 cab.
Yeah.
Now, if the music didn't lend itself to being too loud, I might change it up. But that's my first go-to. It's like, dude, that's like power. I need to do this.
I feel the same way. I've never been able to not do that sort of thing as well. I have to take all the noisy boxes. And even now in Miami Horror, Aaron runs all of his guitar effects through the computer and all of his vocal effects and things. And he was almost talking about, I don't know if he was talking about getting rid of his amplifier or something like that. I can't do it. He was going, you don't have to use effects pedals anymore. Like, no, I want that.
Exactly. And and that's what a lot of people are doing too. I just wouldn't feel comfortable letting the computer have all the power.
I think that's it, and it does go wrong.
Yeah.
But so do patch leads, and so do distortion pedals.
That is the argument.
Yeah.
And that's what those people go try to argue with those people, and that's what they're gonna say. And they're right.
Yeah. So you're a rock and roll guy through and through from when you're younger?
Yeah. I was just like, I was in obviously when you're 11 years old, like Nirvana and Green Day are like the big things, and so I was like into that, and my band was like that. And
was it always something was that it? Did you decide that you wanted to do that forever or anything? Or?
I guess I was into sports when I was young too.
Yeah.
I was like, I liked all sports, so I was like really into basketball, and I played like in ninth grade. So I went to high school and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like play basketball, I'm gonna play music, I'm gonna do all these extracurricular activities or whatever. And then in high school I started like smoking, and I started drinking, and like, and it's like, and I was like, after the first year, I was like, I don't think I can run next year. You know what I mean? I was like, I kind of gotta change. And I was already playing. I mean, it was something I wanted to do. I was in bands, that was it. But then it was like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna do.
And what was the first sort of serious band, I guess, that started to do something?
So that pop punk band was like when I was from 11 to about 15.
What was the name of that band?
It was called Shove It.
It's pretty good.
We were skate.
Yeah. That's the skate move, not the Deftones song.
Yeah, not the Deftones song. But we were like, fuck, man, like Deftones. We didn't like the Deftones, but like they got that song. But yeah, it was called Shove It.
Yeah.
And then in high school, I met this friend Evan Weiss, and he kind of like, and my other friend John, they kind of like introduced me to like hardcore records.
Is that the Wires on Fire guys?
Yeah. And so he filled in for Shove It for like the last show we ever played when we were like 15, and then we decided to start a band, and it was Wires on Fire.
Yeah.
And so and that's like what we did in high school. We'd just go play shows.
So still was a high school band.
It started when we were like 16. I think we played our first shows.
Yeah. And then when did you do a first record or anything like that?
When we were 18, it was the summer. It was the summer in high school. I think it was the summer we graduated high school, and we didn't have any money, but Buddy had records were going to put out this record, but they weren't going to give us any money to do it.
So that was a label, but it was kind of there was also the website, and
they were a big
Aaron North, and who's he?
Travis Keller.
And
they were, I mean, at the time, that was like pre-internet.
Yeah.
It was like right at the start of internet. So what they were doing was
the
like
beginning of internet.
Yeah, it was.
It was
crazy.
Yeah, I do remember.
And so they were like a big deal, kind of. They were like the bad boys of like the internet.
Yeah,
and they would fuck with people,
saying about finger banging and it was all those things.
They spray painted sucking dicks on the Strokes.
On the Strokes thing, yeah.
It was all that shit. Mm-hmm. And I just like the bands that they were in, Icarus Line.
Yeah, I love that band.
Yeah. So, and we would go to their shows when we were in high school, and they kind of would be like, oh, there's like the young kids, and they would all like the older guys in their 20s would come to our shows. And they took us under their wing. So
it was a functioning label. It was.
They put out the Icarus Line records. They put out if you had the drive-in 7 inches and. One of the bands, they put out some Dillinger Escape Plan stuff, and there was like Your Enemy's Friends, all these like Radio Vago, all these like bands that kind of went away, but they did cool shit.
Yeah.
Locust, 7 inches and stuff.
And what, so I saw the Wires on Fire, there's one that, is it Alan Johannes did one, or am I making that up?
He produced the only full-length record
I was listening to that today. I'd never heard of this band before.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
Thanks.
I'm really happy to hear it. Like, there's a little piece of something that I missed.
Yeah.
And then what, so from that, how did you meet him? How did that come about?
The Buddy Head dudes, Aaron joined Nine Inch Nails.
Yep.
They did
and then what, Icarus Line they didn't stop, did they? They just kept going without him.
Yeah, it went without him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite the same. Oh no, there was that one album that they did.
It was never the same.
I
mean, there was just something about how dangerous it was.
Yes,
at that time with those dudes, that group of dudes. They went on. But anyway, so, Trent handpicked the Danger and put Aaron in Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
And they did a tour with Queens. And when we were looking to go to our next record, Aaron was like, this guy Alan would be really great.
Yeah.
He's really musical, and he's a producer. Him and his wife, Natasha, she passed away.
Yeah.
But, so we did that record with them, and it was like an eye-opening experience for us. We were like, 18, 19. And, that's how I met all the Queens guys.
What sort of production do they do? Like, because listening to it, I don't know if he has necessarily a sound. Is he more in terms of getting performances out of you or arranging things or anything like that? How does he work? Or how do they work, rather?
Well, everything he does is out of this house. It's in West Hollywood. It's his. He lives in the house. The studio is the house. It's that kind of place. But they would kind of take our demos and songs and introduce, like, well, why don't you do that same melody over this chord instead of that chord? And they're geniuses.
Yeah, they are. I've listened to some of that. It's 11, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then they did that Chris Cornell album.
Yeah.
And the instrumentation on that's amazing. His guitar solo is fucking seriously badass.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah.
One of the best, and one of the best people, too.
Right.
So it's just like, later I kind of find out that he was kind of going through a rough time. Like, he was just drinking a lot or something, which was like, we going to get the tone, like getting tones. We were just like, cool, like whatever, yeah, like that. That's great. Do whatever you think is best. Now that I'm older, looking back, like I probably would have, like, if I knew more about what was going on, I probably would have done things differently.
Yeah.
But as far as them, like, pushing performances, seeing the good, doing what producers should do.
Yeah.
See the good and pull that out of you and kind of get rid of all the bullshit.
Yeah, cool. So then from that, how did that lead to Queens of the Stone Age?
So Al was, at that time, I think he was like I remember him like coming back to do like mixes for us, and he was like, "Oh, I'm coming back from Queen's tour."
Oh yeah, because he was in the band, wasn't he?
Yeah, so he filled in when
after Nick Oliveri left.
Yeah,
yeah. I saw them play a few shows with that lineup.
Yeah, and Natasha was in it too. She was playing keys.
Playing that kind of like that.
Yeah, so she played. Yeah. It's really great. I mean, that band was like a really. I liked that lineup a lot.
Yeah.
And so when they were looking for someone new, Alan was doing the new record, Air Vulgaris, and they kind of. Aaron and Al and like my friend Carla, and they kind of all were like, "Oh, you should meet Mikey," and you know, that was kind of it.
And what, you were young at that point?
I was 21.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's a pretty sweet gig.
Yeah, I was like I was finishing. I went to college.
Yeah,
because I dropped out once because I thought I was gonna just tour forever, and then our drummer quit. It was like classic like band shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I finished college, and right as I was finishing, I left for tour with them.
Yeah, okay. So was that the end of Wires on Fire when that happened?
It was...
Was it already ending, or...?
No, but we were, you know, it was kind of like, obviously, it caused, you know, a ruckus amongst
when
the
someone
dudes.
meets a better-looking woman and they leave you, or...
Kind of, yeah, you know. But... we still tried to. We made another record. Yeah. Which we're trying to release now,
really?
like 10 years later.
What, you made it around that time?
We like did 20 songs.
Oh, right.
Right when I was like, the first year I was in Queens, and so you know we never finished it, and now we're like trying to like we mixed most of it, and we're trying to release it. And
does it sound relevant to you now, or does it sound like a different time or anything?
It sounds a little in between.
A little bit in between. Yeah. I guess with those things you've got to you can't, because it's now and you're mixing it or doing anything, you don't want to change what you had done then, because
exactly.
then it can be a dangerous.
Well, also we don't want that to be like a full-time thing.
Yeah.
So it's like to go back and start
Fuck
stripping.
that.
Oh, like maybe we should write new.
Yeah,
like, leave it how it was.
Just leave it.
Let's mix it. It's cool. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's like it's a time, you know, and that's what it should represent.
Yeah.
That's what a record should represent.
Definitely.
Really.
I agree. Yeah. So then you do the tour for Era Vulgaris, and then that leads into what after? I guess then there was them Crooked Vultures happened.
Right. So we took a break. We were supposed to go make a record.
Yeah.
But then like you know, and we were like we were like talking. It was like, okay, we're gonna go do this, and then. I remember Josh called me and was like, so, you know, I just got this call, and, you know, Dave called me and like, we're going to do this band, and it's with John Paul Jones. And I was just like, oh, wow.
So now you're the one who gets left for the...
Totally, yeah. And, but I was like, wow, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Of course, like, of course you're going to do it either way, but that's rad. And we'll pick up the pieces when you're done.
That was quite a big period there between those two albums, wasn't it? Era Vulgaris and Like Clockwork.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he did that, and then that's when I started Mini Mansions. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff that happened in that 5 years.
With you, or just with everybody?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone. A lot of shit.
So how did you meet the Mini Mansions guys?
Zach was a member of Shove It, the pop punk band.
Right.
We've been friends since we were like 11.
Yeah.
And Tyler was his friend from college.
Okay. It's always just someone's mate, isn't it?
What's up?
It's just always someone's mate.
Yeah.
That's kind of how this thing works.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, it's like, it's just there's some kind of connection. That's what it's about, really, for me. It's like, first there's got to be a connection between two people to like want to play together.
Yeah.
Not just because like you want to like be famous with and they're gonna help you get there. It's like that doesn't matter. It's just like, and
also not just getting the best person, the most skilled or whatever. I also don't think adds to it either. It just needs to be that feels.
Yeah, I guess if you're Katy Perry and you're like looking for the best band, you pay the best session musician.
But those bands kind of sound a bit whack as well, though. I find like
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, that's it.
They don't know
No.
that they should probably like.
Shut up sometimes.
Yeah.
They never really have a sound. They just sound like Katy Perry's band or Beyonce's band or everything.
That's their job.
Yeah.
They're successful at it.
And everyone describes every member of them as technically very good.
Yeah.
As soon as you hear that, you know it's not what you want to hear.
Sometimes they're not actually, which is so crazy too.
Yeah, I guess so. I haven't seen Katy
weird.
Perry.
Well, she's just an example. She's hot.
Yeah, okay. So then what, you did the first Mini Mansions album in that time?
Yeah. So we like quickly, when I decided to do this thing, it was like, okay.
You must have had a lot of time on your hands suddenly though, after.
Yeah, because I was doing that band. I also was doing that band Jubilee, which was with Aaron North.
Yes.
And that
I don't know much about that.
it was a brief moment in time.
I know what he's like from what I've read and from what I've seen of him perform.
Yeah. So he was a good friend of mine, and we tried to do this thing, and it was his vision but our songs together, and it just didn't. It imploded. He had a rough time. That's all I really want. I don't really want to talk too much about that.
That's fine.
It's a rough.
Kind of documented on the internet if anyone wants to look about it.
True,
There's a few interviews and things about it. That happens though, eh? People blow out and people party too hard, or if they've got some kind of issue or anything. I don't think that this industry, it doesn't help those things so much as well. If there's booze around or all those sorts of things. I mean, I found myself even just kind of losing it, and I think I'm a pretty stable guy most of the time.
Right. I do too. That's the thing about it. I am a stable guy, and I like to think, I'm not out every night raging. I mean, I was when I was younger, but like, I'm a stable guy, but like, shit happens. And there's everything in your life is going to change, like, I'm going to probably get too deep, but like...
No, we can do that.
Can we?
Yeah, of course.
No, but like, I like to work. Mm-hmm. And so when I don't have like a routine or like work, it totally changes me. And like, I can get unstable, but not because like, I'm like out every night. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm just like losing myself to the fucking city and to like, it's like not having structure for me. It's like the thing that kind of breaks me. Yeah,
well, how do you find that on tour? Have you gotten better at it, or? I mean, that is one of the most difficult things. Even trying to fit your running shoes in your bag sometimes.
Well, tour's good for me because of that structure.
Okay.
Yeah, I have like, I know what I'm doing every day, and I have like a purpose to like, I'm gonna go like whatever I do during the day. In the end, it's all for like playing a show that night.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course, you get burnt out on tour, and then you're like, oh, all I want to do is be home, and that's the fucked up cycle that musicians live.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah,
I agree. But I guess I don't find. I mean, tour is definitely there is a routine to it, but there's a lot of nothing time. There's so many dead hours. That 5 hours there, that 3 hours after sound check before you play, where you can never do anything.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing for me.
No, I agree with you.
I'm not trying to bring you down. Just.
People. That's why you tell people oh, tour, man, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But it's not all it's cracked up to be. But you can make the best of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I find that the best of it for me was the partying and the meeting people and all of that. But I've since kind of tried to stop that. And now I'm just readjusting to what you do. We played that Coachella show the other day, and the show was awesome. But then afterwards, it's just kind of this emptiness. Everyone leaves, and then you're kind of, what do we do now? And you used to just get pissed and kind of hang out, but I wasn't doing that. So
what did you do?
Smoked cigarettes. Need something to suck inside me. Watched a few bands, and then we didn't go back for the next. We played on Friday, so on Saturday and Sunday, just couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
I couldn't, there's no way I could do it.
No. Get over it.
But yeah, it is weird. Like I used to be much better when I was younger. I would just party as soon as you're done, just fucking rage.
Yeah.
just rave. And that's all I needed, you know? But now I'm in a different spot, and like the last year of touring, I wasn't really like partying that much. And so yeah, it is weird. You're done, you're like, that was awesome.
I just want another one. I see why Prince would do a show after the show. Because you feel warmed up and you're pretty jazzed after it, and then it's time to have a jam.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And if you have someone waiting like at another venue with all your gear,
when's
I would totally go do that. Yeah.
Queens of the Stone Age could probably do that. You guys would be at that level, wouldn't you?
But there's some people that, you know, we're a band like, I mean, you've been around like that, like to hang out.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's a very social band.
Yeah.
So it's like, we can't just go do that. But I guess you could just bring all your friends to the next spot.
Yeah. I'm also interested, I mean, Queens of the Stone Age being, I don't know, drug, rock and roll fueled, as everyone would think it was anyway. Was it like that when you joined, or?
Yeah. Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of fun.
I mean, nothing's really, you know, whatever.
Yeah. I just wonder if it has to slow down at some point, or do these people? I mean, because All the Colours just did the Eagles of Death Metal shows in Australia.
You did.
Yeah, and
that's a good time.
It was really fun, but seeing Jesse Hughes, and he's still going.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it. It freaks me out. He's cool, like it's fine, but I don't think I could sustain that.
Right, and it's just not for everyone. Like, you know, the other dudes will call me like, they don't really say it anymore, but like old man shoes, because it's like out of anyone, I'm probably the one that's gonna be like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done for the night. You know, it wasn't like that when I joined, but I was 21, and that's just the way I am, though. Like I've leveled out.
Yeah, I think that must happen to a lot of people. But then I guess some people just have that spirit. And also, if you can do it, who fucking cares? Why not? If it doesn't affect anything too drastically, or you don't get depressed from it or anything,
right.
I don't think it should really matter.
Dude, I'm all for it. If you're good with it, and you can still do your job, and like perform whatever, more power to you. You know, that being said, it's where like all like sometimes I'm like, man, I don't know how they party so hard. Or I don't know like how you're fucking out drinking every night. But at the same time, if I'm being honest, like I still, you know, take drugs or do drugs or whatever, but just on like a very like low dose all the time.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than like I don't go hard.
Yeah.
Like I was hungover after the Iggy Pop show the other night, and I don't remember the last time I was been hungover, you know. But I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it tonight.
Yeah. Every now and again.
Yeah, but I think everything in moderation.
Yeah. The other thing I'm interested in this is more of a silly sort of thing with touring. I mean, is there a game you guys play? A shit talking sort of thing? Everyone has their different ridiculousness, that sort of tour van madness. Do you guys lose your shit? Is there someone who gets more silly?
Well, everyone's
pretty silly. It's a silly question, but
well, it's a silly crew, really. I mean, Josh might as well be a comedian, you know?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
So he'll take care of the laughs for you, you know?
Yeah.
But everyone's having a great time for the most part.
That's good to know.
It's a really like great group of people, and our crew, everybody is really awesome.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, you know, like Hutch and...
I caught up with him the other day.
Yeah.
Went out to Joshua Tree to see him. He's very lovely.
Yeah.
He's got the right spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good gang. One thing I'm wanting to know is, and kind of one of the things of this podcast is, why we do any of this, basically. You know, is there a message to what you do, or is there something that drives you? Do you think you're changing the world? Is it about bringing people joy? Is it fulfilling your own needs, or you know what? It's a big one, but
it's a very big one.
I am fascinated.
And some people might be disappointed by the answer of an individual.
Yeah.
I think that for me personally, it starts for a personal fulfillment.
Yeah.
I really enjoy. I could probably get by with like making demos by myself and listening to them and tweaking them, listening to them and tweaking them, and I'd be happy, like being like I'm like creating something, creating art. Like that really is fulfilling to me. I am, a touring musician, so there is that part that I kind of need to. Some people don't need that. Like engineers and producers who could just like, I want to be in the studio all the time. I don't want to tour. I gave up on that.
I think more than it is touring, it's just playing live. And I know it is the same thing, but for me, it's not so much about being in all the different places. It's about setting up your gear and playing noisy shit in front of people.
Yeah, totally. That's what I'm saying. Like even like tour, I love that I get to see the world.
Yeah.
And over and over and over again, and see friends and meet new people, and that's really great. But for me, like, and some of my bandmates in whatever band will be like, they couldn't really be bothered about like the sound check, whatever. It doesn't.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm really into like that work and that structure of like, okay, and making sure everything's great, so that the show is great. And like, for like Mini Mansions, like the merch is set up and like, is everything, I love that. And that's all part of it. And like, and then getting on stage and playing and killing and doing the best job possible so that like, of whatever genre, this is like the best show that these people have ever seen.
Yeah. Do you always have that, that sort of fire in you when you play? Because I know some people just kind of get over it, but I can't not perform hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to do anything crazy or anything, but as soon as it starts, it overwhelms me and you've just got to do it. And I guess it's not even a choice sometimes.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
There's no way. There maybe be an occasional night where something in the moment is really fucked with you, like whatever, your monitors are gone. You can't hear and it's really frustrating. But then you get more pissed and play harder and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you, man. It's just, I've always been like that. And it's kind of like that, like, it's like a punk rock ethos that like, like a Ema Kai thing where it's like, I'm going to play as hard in front of 4 people or 400 people,
Not 4 though, 40.
Was it 40?
Well, that's what I've decided. 4's...
You know how many times I've played really hard in front of 4 people?
How many?
Many.
I think I've done it as well.
I'd say, in front of 4 people, I'd say 15 times.
Yeah.
20 times.
There was a few times when there was 4 people.
Dude, when Wires on Fire, it's like we would tour all the time and be like, I remember playing just for the bartender, and playing hard.
What I've found, no matter how much I do or how much bigger one band gets or anything I do, there's still always a gig that I end up playing to 4 people. It's always just around the corner for me.
Yeah, isn't that scary?
Yeah, I know, it never goes away.
No, it doesn't.
But maybe for some people it does, and they don't, but...
You reach a level that will never happen again.
But I think also if you're always starting, I mean, you started new Mini Mansions, as a new band, after you'd already done this other thing, and I was doing Miami Horror, and that's doing well, but then I've got All the Colors, so that's still on the grind at the bottom again. And I can imagine even with that, when I move on to another project or start something else, it's still going to
100%
have the opportunity.
That's just the way it is. I really like that. I like that.
It keeps you grounded.
Yeah,
it definitely does.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people that can't hang with that shit.
Yeah, it doesn't. It bums me out just a little bit, but
sure. Well, of course it bums. Yeah,
yeah.
Of course. As we get older too.
Yeah, I think that's it.
You get more jaded and.
Do you have a sort of end goal for all of this? Is there something that you haven't done that you want to do? Is there the album you haven't made? Is there a point where you'd be happy with all of it? Content more so?
No, there's no way.
I don't, maybe
There's so many records I want to make.
Yeah.
So many records I want to make. But I think of the end goal, I would love, like I haven't really, I've produced like a few things, but that's kind of what I want to do. I enjoy that process and working with other people and being in the studio and not having the pressure of it all being on you.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of nice.
Yeah.
Like helping people make good music, but if it doesn't do well or people don't like it, really it's not on you and you're not really going to feel the burden of it all.
Yeah. One thing I've been thinking about recently as well is just do we make a difference in people's lives? Like, some people have told me, you bring joy to people by performing music, and look at all the people that love the albums or that come to your shows and get happiness out of it. But then I also want, then you see other people on the front line helping refugees and doing charity work and all those sorts of things. I just wonder where we sit in the grand scheme of things.
Well, when you say it like that, I agree with like you're like, oh well.
But I don't know,
I'm a piece
maybe
of shit. I'm just playing music. But when you say it like that, I just like add a mental image of like, let's say a few fans that I know personally that I know, my music has brought them joy, and it brings them joy every day, actually. And those people aren't refugees, and those people aren't really people that are suffering. They're just people that are in like the need of like maybe good music, or maybe a nice book or love, So I understand, like, yes, you could be helping people that are truly suffering, but there's tons of people in the world that aren't truly suffering.
Yeah.
You're just doing something for these people over here, and that's why the thing is about music is like, not everyone's gonna like your music. It's very subjective.
Sadly.
Yeah. Well,
they should.
Yeah, you gotta get over it.
They just haven't heard it yet. They don't know what the next album sounds like. What are your thoughts on music at the moment? Is there any bands you love, hate? Do you get bummed out by popular music or anything like that? I don't feel like you would.
I just don't. I guess sometimes when you're in like an album cycle or something, and you're like hoping that your record's gonna get reviewed or picked up or your video's gonna get on this site, that's the only time when you're like, oh man, this band got it? It's not this, like, really?
Yeah.
Like, this band sucks. But overall, I don't really care. I could care less, like, just keep your head down. And it's a problem too, that I might not be as aware of like what's going on around me. Because I think it could be greatly influenced by some great artists.
It's just so hard to keep up though.
Yeah.
And there's only so much searching for music you can do. It's weird, there's so much.
What do you like right now?
I can never remember when anyone.
Me neither.
I listened to that new Mini Mansions album a lot. I really enjoyed that.
Cool.
I think that's awesome. I mean, Tame Impala's great. I don't really listen to them, but I really like them.
Yeah.
But I guess everyone else was listening to it, so that's why I didn't bother.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I think that record's really great. But I toured with them.
Yeah.
And so I like heard those songs every night. So now I can't even go listen to the record anymore. But I think it's amazing. Yeah. But there are great records. I think people are making some truly great records still. And I'm happy that like I was reading some magazine. It was like top 100, indie records, whatever that means, of 2015.
Yeah.
And number one, I think, was Father John Misty. He was on the cover, and I was like, it was my favorite record of last year, whatever that was, and I was like, that's really great that at least a large amount of people are agreeing that was a.
Yeah, there'll be a few other crap ones maybe in there, but at least everyone knows.
Oh, there was a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
You're like, holy shit.
But they know that he's good.
But at least
he's the real deal though, and it kind of is a little bit undeniable because he's got.
I guess that's the deal, huh?
Yeah, he's got the swag, he's got the lyrics, he's got the songs.
With it.
Yeah, and the voice. He is one of the great sort of artists, I think. I mean, time will tell. He's done 2 records, so. But even if that was all he did, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. 2 great records.
Yeah. Do you find it difficult playing you've got Mini Mansions and Queens of the Stone Age. Do they must overlap, or opportunities get missed, or things you can't do?
I think it's more, opportunities missed is a good way to put it, because
You just can't. I feel like when you've got a band, and if you want your band to be a huge success, and if you want that, you have to be doing it all of the time, and it has to be, you think you're the greatest band at all times, and all you and your boys, or girls for that matter, are just raging forth doing that. And then when you have something else, and this is what happens with me with Miami Horror, we'll get some things going on with All the Colours, and then you get offered a tour. That might not be the best tour, but it would be a good thing to do, and you have to turn it down because you're doing something else with your other band, and you're just always sort of floating at this level.
Yeah, I think that's a fear of, an honest fear of ours, Mini Mansions, because like the other two dudes, Tyler and Zach, are touring with The Last Shadow Puppets right now.
That's right. I saw them the other night.
And, I think it's wonderful for them, but it put like a damper on like our next move.
Yes.
And then their minds, when Queen starts up again, that's gonna put a damper on the next move again. So you're right. It is a fucked up cycle, and you can't really get in a total flow unless you're focused on one thing. Yeah.
Do you quit Queens of the Stone Age and do that one?
No, because I've been in Queens for 10 years.
Yeah, you have, haven't you?
If it was something else, maybe I would, but like Josh has brought all of us in, with open arms, and he's a very...
It's a band with him as the leader, but
exactly, yeah. He's no doubt our leader, 100%.
Yeah.
But it is a band, and it feels really good when it works like that, and when you're, because you see all kinds of other band or non-bands.
Yeah.
Really, a dude who hires dudes. When you see, being very eloquent, when you see that happen, it's kind of gross.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, well, it's not gross. It's just what it is. It's just business. Mm-hmm. But when you're given an opportunity and you see that this is unique, I would never let it go. And plus, I've been in that band for 10 years, and I started Mini Mansions after it. Not saying that Mini Mansions isn't extremely important to me.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to quit a band that I love.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's it. If it's fulfilling a need and you're getting to, do what you want with it, then it's probably not an issue.
Yeah, but but I think in all different times of your life, you're gonna have to make choices like that. Like, I don't know if you care about basketball, but
Hit me.
It's an interesting analogy, but Luke Walton is the assistant coach to Steve Kerr on the Golden State Warriors, who are having, a record-breaking season.
Yeah.
They're shattering all kinds of shit. And he had to be head coach on that team for a brief moment this season, and he did an incredible job, but he's originally like a Lakers dude. And so Lakers, even though he's on this winning team, Lakers offered him head coach next year.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, shit, this is an opportunity for me. As much as I want to be on a winning team, and I've got this team to this point of being the champions, I'm going to leave to be my own man and to like have my own success as head coach. And so I think that is a very hard thing for him to do, and for everyone else to let him go. But sometimes in your life you have to do shit like that. And I have never done that. I had to kind of do it for Wires on Fire. I was like, this is an extremely good opportunity for me with Queens. They're one of my favorite bands. Yeah. I have to do this. Yeah. Even though I love this, I have to do this. It's going to be better for me in my life. And that's going to happen all the time with all kinds of shit. Relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
Places you live, or in a relationship and your girl needs to move for a job.
Well, the other thing I think when you're younger, you have this idea of the the perfect band that you're going to be in with
Yeah.
the perfect friends, and
Yeah.
it's like everything you ever wanted to do, and it works. And then something turns up that's not exactly what you would have thought or however it was, but you sort of just go with that. And
It's a bummer. I had those dreams too.
yeah,
All for one, one for all.
yeah,
When you're young and you're with your best friends and you think it is going to bring this thing, and you're going to change the world. But, the world is also a different place. Talking about, being in the music industry, it's like, it's just different now.
Yeah.
So maybe back then you could do that and you could go sell records and you could make a living. I haven't read the book, but I was a big NoFX fan.
Yeah.
And they just put out this new book and all my friends have read it. Saying how great it is. Me and my friend Matt drove to Riverside, which is about an hour away, a little more. At last minute, they're playing Riverside tonight. It's like, fuck it, let's just go. We drove to Riverside, one saw NoFX. Anyway, the book talks about the early days, and then, they're a punk band, starting their own label, selling records, but they were selling records. And they were making a ton of fucking money doing it. And they've made a great business and career out of it, doing exactly what they want to do, staying true to themselves. But that was a different time. Mm-hmm. You just can't do that anymore.
yeah.
You can't.
No, you can't.
You have to be very special and you have to be very lucky.
I guess the positive thing about it is you have to really do it for the love of it even more now than you ever had to before, I think, because there isn't all that money and you have to make records on the cheap and you have to try and promote them yourselves and put all of this time and money and love into it, and you can't just be some asshole rich rock star who got lucky and just keeps churning shit out easily,
Right.
So I think that's kind of leveled the playing field a little bit.
Yeah. And it kind of comes back to like the question of why you do it. And it's like, in the end, it's the love of like actually the process of making a record and making music.
Yeah.
If by yourself and 10 people hear it, or if a million people hear it, that process is something you have to love and enjoy and put everything into.
If songs are still coming into your brain and this shit's still happening to you, there's no way we can stop. It sort of feels like, hey,
Yeah.
I definitely have that. We're getting near the end.
Cool.
What's next though? What are you, new Mini Mansions album, new Queens of the Stone Age album?
Both, and I think
Oh yeah.
that'll be the the overlap. I've been writing a lot, and that's all I've been doing really. It's just been home, and
On the piano or guitar? What do you?
both, everything. Everything, and I've been really into actually a lot of sitting at the computer, which I've never really done. Usually I would just like make a guitar on make a demo on guitar and kind of present it to the other dudes and be like, let's work on this thing. But I've been alone a lot, so I've just been like on the computer and now you have these like working on with these programs that allow you to do so much shit.
Right, so you never done much of that before.
No, I never really did that.
Okay.
And now
So
it's really fun, like being able to demo all your ideas out really easily, even though I would never like release a record like that.
Are you one of those guys who gets stoned and sits and does that sort of thing, or you just...
Yeah.
That seems to be what happens.
Yeah, I just spend all day. That's what every day, my girlfriend's been out of town for like 2 months, so I've just been like...
Sweet.
Doing that, and like, it's awesome.
And mostly Mini Mansions stuff? Or
I just write to write.
Yep.
But, and that's why I say I have so many different kinds of records I want to make, and I hope I get to make them one day.
I'm sure you can.
I think so. But it takes a little bit of time and money,
Yes.
and you have to really like ration out like how you're gonna do that all. You don't want to blow your load on like,
But that's interesting because you're in a quite a success, one of the biggest rock bands arguably in the world, and still faced with that struggle of not having enough money or to do it.
Well,
I guess times have changed.
Well, it's like, yeah, I could spend a bunch of money on a record, but then what's the next step?
Yeah.
Am I going to release the record and then spend a bunch of money on that, and then spend a bunch of
Well,
money on
you
promoting it?
Yeah, you have to
and
tour it.
And then if you're not going to tour it, what's the point of putting all that money into that?
Yeah, that's definitely what's changed, huh? You could have just made it and sold heaps of them.
I'm also like, you know, I'm a good businessman. I like to think so. Like, yeah, I have to be strategic about how I'm going to work and spend my own money. And I just got to think about it. I'm not just going to go do it just because.
Yeah, I guess you wait until the moment's right.
Because I can be fulfilled by making that music on a computer. So until the time comes where I'm like, I want to do this and I want to release it and I want to go tour on it, then I go in a studio and spend money. That's what's amazing right now, that you can just do it all. I mean,
yeah, you can get everything in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't cost a fortune to do it at the studio if you've already built a lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we've been doing things with All the Colors, is just demoing everything before we go and do it. So you know exactly what you're doing, and then you just go in and have fun getting the best bass sound or, you know, those sorts of things. But you've already got the songs structured. You know what tempo everything's going to be. You've demoed all your vocals. You're ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, that's a luxury that people got to spend $1 million on a record.
Yeah.
And go in for 6 months in the nicest studio and work out shit. Like, I don't know, you know, let's go to lunch. But I don't want to, you know, I think that is a great way. Get it fucking exactly how you want to do it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, spend what you need to go get real sounds. And I think that's the difference also about, like, a lot of people will stop at, like, my computer.
Yep. They definitely
I think
will,
it's a big, I think once you take it to that, like, the next level where it's like going through real gear, real amps, it is a whole different world.
Yep, I agree.
And you can really tell when I A/B something, it's obvious.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff that just sounds just too computer done out there. I don't know, just it's all a bit flaccid. And I can hear with Ableton, you know, because I use it, I can see how people make their music, and it just ends up all sounding a little bit homogenous and
100%.
Yeah, they don't create the unique tone or a microphone just in the hallway when you're doing your guitar solo or whatever, just to add a bit of atmosphere and things like that.
Yeah, there's a depth that you just can't reach, and I think you can almost, it's weird, you can start to hear almost like whatever like algorithm this program is using, because it's embedded in every like software instrument and every plugin. There's something that like, it's comforting actually.
Yeah.
When you're writing, you're like, well, this sounds good. And it's like, I know that like that software instrument sounds, you know, the way I want it to.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to it. But when you really go and like play like the real deal keyboard, that synth or whatever, it's like, oh shit, there's a depth to this.
Yeah, there really is. There's just a different texture to it. I agree. So what, New Queens of the Stone Age as well? That's happening?
Yeah, I mean, we've been, it's going to happen.
How does that work with writing? Do you guys get in a room together, or?
It's really hard with 5 people to get in a room together and just write.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like, okay when you're 15.
Yeah,
but not now.
Like I even if we could do it, I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But you know, so most of it, you know, at least I've only done one record, recording and writing, and that record was like mostly, you know, we tried jamming a lot and doing that thing. It ended up like most of that record stemmed from like Josh's demos, you know. And then there was songs that we would get in a room together and kind of work on something, and something would come out of that. So it's there's no rules, and it is very him being, you know, the leader and the lead songwriter. It's like he's also very open to any ideas or songs that we have or whatever.
I'm sure he would be. He's a leader that I would be happy to follow as well.
Exactly. That's why you always trust, like,
Yeah, when he's that good.
Yeah.
It's not like you're second guessing them too often.
Right.
Hey, thanks for taking the time out to have a chat. I appreciate it. Good man.
No problem.
So there we have it, Michael Shuman. What a pleasant chap. It was very nice to catch up with him. It had been a little while since I'd seen him. And if you haven't had a chance to check out his album, The Great Pretenders by the band Mini Mansions, I highly recommend it. It is badass. Hey, thanks for tuning in. There's going to be plenty more interviews and things coming up over the next few months, so just make sure you keep an eye on the bottom of it. It'll be SoundCloud, I don't know, Twitter, YouTube, all those things. I guess I got to get it all sorted, don't I? I'll be doing that. So search the bottom of it. Keep your eye on it. I'll have plenty more for you. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers. Bye-bye.